The moon hung like a sinister lantern in the ink-black sky as the bus driver navigated the shadowy streets of Maple Streets. His solitary journey through the night was a secret horror show, one that unfolded beyond the comprehension of the unsuspecting town. The town of Maple Streets lay hidden beneath a thick, impenetrable blanket of fog that clung to every corner, obscuring the world in a disorienting haze. Dim streetlights cast eerie halos, and the occasional echo of a distant footstep faded into oblivion. The bus driver was an unassuming figure, his face worn by years of solitude and darkness. His eyes, however, were void of emotion, as if they had witnessed too many horrors to retain any humanity. Inside the bus, he became an embodiment of dread. His gaunt face seemed to melt into the surrounding shadows, and his voice was a whisper lost in the night's chill. The victims, drawn to him by an inexplicable magnetism, bordered with a vulnerability that mirrored their desolate lives. Fear was etched across their faces, a palpable presence that hung heavy in the air. Enchanted by an unseen force, they surrendered to the night's horrors. The atmosphere was oppressive, suffused with a sinister malevolence. It felt as if the very walls were closing in, creating a claustrophobic nightmare for those who dared to board. The air was thick with an unspoken terror, and the dim overhead lights cast eerie, elongated shadows that seemed to mock the passengers' despair. The journey led them beyond the town's limits, to a desolate part of Maple Streets, where the moon's feeble glow barely pierced the darkness. There, amidst the silence of the night, the macabre performance reached its peak. He led his victims to a makeshift grave, whispering stories of his daughter's demise, his voice trembling with anguish. He compelled them to wear a dress identical to the one his daughter had worn on that fateful night. The victims, obedient in their drugged state, dug their own graves, forced to relive his tragedy. The ground, damp and cold, yielded to their efforts, becoming the final resting place for their sanity and hope. But hidden beneath this horror lay an even more sinister revelation. His daughter, too, had fallen victim to another bus driver, a kindred spirit of darkness. When dawn would break, the bus would return to its normal route, an innocuous echo of its nightly horrors. The victims would vanish, leaving behind only the lingering scent of fear and despair. Of course, efforts were made to find the elusive bus driver, to put an end to his reign of terror, but each attempt only deepened the mystery. The town's detectives combed through records, interviewed witnesses, and scoured the night for any clues that might unveil his identity. But he remained a specter, a phantom who slipped through their fingers. The nightmare persisted, casting a long shadow over the once peaceful Maple Streets. The chilling specter of his bus roamed the streets, a grim reminder that he was still out there, lurking in the darkness, searching for his next victim.